One of my favorite parts of Fire Emblem games is when you finally get to class change your early game units into their promoted classes. It's a nice flourish to end their training arc, and usually you get a significant power boost from promoting so you can feel the effects immediately. The way that promotions work has changed a few times throughout the series though, so let's take a look at how promoting has evolved from game to game and what effect that has had on the gameplay. But first, a big thank you to my patrons, Helix, Aikipu, Lucy Seb, Van West, Acrobatic Jazz, A Family of Trees, Romeo, Zakar, and Aaron Geddon. I really appreciate your support. If you want to get early access to videos, shoutouts in videos, and have access to polls that influence the content schedule, or if you just want to support me, you'll find a link to the Patreon in the video description. Okay, so with promotions, let's start at the beginning. In Fire Emblem 1, certain classes can promote at level 10 by using a promotion item specific to their class. For example, the first promotion item you get is the Hero Proof, which promotes level 10 or higher mercenaries into the hero class. When you promote in FE1, you don't get a preset stat bonus, instead your stats are increased to the class bases of the class you're promoting into. So if we promote a mercenary with 7 strength into hero, they will gain 1 strength because hero's class base is 8. A mercenary with 10 strength, however, wouldn't see any change to their strength as they are already above the class base. This naturally means that some units benefit a lot more from promotion than others. Take a unit like Hardin. He joins in Chapter 5, and we don't get our first Cavalier promotion item until Chapter 10, which promotes him into a Paladin. Hardin joins with a higher strength stat than the Paladin class bases, and by the time he promotes, he's likely not to gain much in his combat stats, because his speed and defense will also be similar to the Paladin's base stats. So the main thing that Hardin gets out of promoting is move. Hardin shows that if a unit's stats are already very good, they get less stats when promoting. This means that it's generally best to promote early when a unit has lower stats to maximize the stat gains that they get from promoting. It also means that if you want to give a unit a stat booster, you may want to wait until they promote, because if you increase a stat that is below the promoted stats class bases, that reduces the stat gain they will get from promoting. So units like Hardin don't benefit as much from this class change system, but units with worse stats can benefit from it a lot. To see this, let's look at my favorite archer that no one ever uses, Tomas. Tomas starts at level 8 and is kind enough to join us on a map with a manual that gives him enough weapon level to use the Parthia, and the Orion's Bolt that can promote him into Sniper. Most people don't use this unit though, and I think part of that is because his base stats do not excite, especially because this is not that long after we got our pre-promoted Sniper George. Tomas starts with the same strength as George, but also a very sad 5 speed. However, Tomas really benefits from the way promotions work in this game. If you can get him 2 levels and promote him, he's bumped up to the Sniper class base speed of 14, at which point he's even faster than George, who actually joins with speed below the class base. On average, a Tomas that promotes at level 10 gains 9 points of speed from the promotion. So units with low stats can benefit a lot from promotion because they gain more to get to the class bases. This also ensures that you can always have a unit meet at least a certain baseline of quality. If you promote a unit to hero, you know you are going to at least have the hero class bases no matter how bad the unit was before that. So even if you had some bad levels on one of your favorite units, promotion can help rectify that. That FE1 has you promote units with specific items also has some interesting effects. For one thing, it controls how many of a given class you can have at any particular point in the game. Prior to the first Knight's Crest, for example, the designers could be sure that you will have at most 1 Paladin. Additionally, on subsequent playthroughs, the number of promotion items for specific classes can influence how many units of a given unit type that you will use. You only get 2 Dragon Whips for promoting Pegasus Knights in FE1 outside of secret shops, and that might discourage you from training 3 or 4 Pegasus Knights because you won't be able to promote some of them without buying them a promotion item. Some classes can't promote at all in FE1, but that isn't quite as bad as it may sound. In FE1, stat caps are only at 20, and stat boosters can add up to 6 to a single stat, so even without promotion in this game, a unit can have very good stats. Marth is a great example of this. He doesn't promote in FE1, but is still considered one of the strongest units because between his growths and stat boosters, he can easily have great stats while being a magnet for enemies because the AI loves attacking Marth in this game. I do think it's a shame that some units can't promote in this game though, because promoting is exciting. You shouldn't worry about it too much if a unit you like can't promote because they can still do well, but it would be more fun if they could promote. After FE1, we had Gaiden and Shadows of Valentia, which similarly have units go up to class spaces when they promote, but there are a few notable differences in the way that promotions work. First, units don't necessarily promote at level 10. Instead, the level they promote at is dependent on their class, such as mercenaries who promote to sword fighter at level 7 in Gaiden. Unlike Fire Emblem 1, every base class promotes in these games, but some classes have more than one promotion, such as Cavaliers who promote to Paladin and then Gold Knight. Others, like Pegasus Knight, just have one promotion, and those classes usually promote at a higher level than the classes that promote twice. Another change in this game is that units don't promote by using an item. Instead, once you get a unit to promotion level, they can promote at any Milla Shrine, which are typically found in dungeons. So if a unit gets to promotion, you can either trek back to a previous dungeon, potentially dealing with additional map encounters, or you can wait until the next shrine to do your promoting. So there's a choice to be made where you can either spend extra time to promote a unit before taking on more difficult maps, or you can push forward and forego promoting for a little bit, but potentially save yourself some time. We also get our first story-based promotion in this game. In Fire Emblem 1, Marth never promotes, but in Shadows of Valentia, Alm doesn't unlock the ability to promote by leveling. Instead, in SoV, he can go to a shrine and promote when Celica gets partway through Act 4, regardless of what level he is. This has an interesting effect on Alm where you can elect not to invest heavily in him and instead use him to support other units in the early game, and he'll still be able to promote and be solid in the late game because the base stats from his promotion are good. This wouldn't work if Alm just got a small flat stat bonus from his promotion. The first time we saw those flat stat bonuses in Fire Emblem was in Mystery of the Emblem. Unlike Fire Emblem 1 and 2, in this game each class has a preset stat bonus that they gain upon promotion, instead of the bonuses depending on your distance from the class bases of your promoted class. Naturally, this means that some promotions are just better than others. The Sniper promotion in particular stands out in this game, providing the same strength bonus of +2 as most other classes, but also providing an extra 2 move and a very appreciable 5 speed. The promotions being flat means that you can learn what to expect from promotions, and that good units like Harden benefit from them just as much as units with lower stats. However, this also means that a promotion may not always be able to patch up a weak unit in the way that they could in FE1. You just aren't going to have any promotions like FE1 Tomas gaining 9 speed on promotion in FE3. One quirk of this game's promotion system is how it works with the dismounting mechanic. Unlike Fire Emblem 1, in this game mounted units can get off their mount and walk around on foot, and in fact they have to do so during indoor maps. When promoted units have to dismount, they take a penalty to their stats. For Paladins, this is equal to the promotion gains they got when they class changed from Cavalier. This only works because of the flat promotion rates. If this dismounting system were used in tandem with FE1's system, units like Harden could lose dismounted stats by promoting since he doesn't gain many from promotion in that game. So the flat promotion bonuses in FE3 help support the dismounting system. This game also goes back to units promoting at level 10 or higher by using specific promotion items, though this is the first game where there's some argument for not promoting early. In earlier games, delaying promotion potentially diminished the gains you would enjoy upon doing your promotion, but in this game, the bonuses you get from promoting are the same no matter when you do it. Since promoting resets your level to 1 and the level cap is 20, promoting at level 10 means you miss out on a potential extra 10 levels you could have gotten before promoting. So a unit that promotes at level 10 and then reaches level 20 in their promoted class will have less chances to grow than a unit that promotes at level 15 and then reaches level 20 in their promoted class. In practice though, promoting early is still great in this game. Stat caps are pretty low and you can promote early and still hit them, especially with the help of FE3's star shards that can increase growth rates. So the immediate boost from promoting is generally more worthwhile than the potentially extra 10 levels you could get by putting off promotion. After Mystery of the Emblem, Fire Emblem 4 changed things up again. In this game you can promote starting at level 20 instead of 10, and once a unit is capable of promoting they can do so in a castle. And like FE3, you receive a flat stat bonus from promoting. In this game, promoting doesn't reset your level, so there's no downside to promoting as early as possible. There's not much exciting about the mechanics of promotion in this game, but FE4 does have some very exciting promotion bonuses, such as Myrmidons picking up 5 strength on promotion, or most famously princes and princesses getting a horse, additional weapon types, and a boatload of stats on promotion. It can be a bit of a long trek to promotion since units have to get to level 20, but once you get there, the rewards are very nice. After FE4 we have Thracia, and that goes back to functioning pretty similarly to FE3, with the main difference being that units don't use specific items to promote. Instead, every class promotes with a Master Seal. So unlike FE1 and 3, you never have to wait for a specific item to show up to promote a unit, and you can promote as many units of the same class as you want. So it's a big change from FE1, where you have to wait the bulk of the game to promote your first Pegasus Knight because you don't have a Dragon Whip. This is also the first game since Gaiden where your unit's class influences how much experience they gain from combat, so promoting means slower EXP gain. This means there's a trade-off where you can promote early for the immediate combat boost at the cost of slower growth over the next few chapters. Promotion gains are of pretty varying quality in Thracia. Cavaliers just gain 1 or 2 points in most stats, while Asbel's mage promotion sees him gaining 5 magic and skill, 6 speed, and 4 defense. So every promotion is a nice boost, but some are way bigger than others. One cool thing about promotion items in this game is they are often used as an in-map reward. There's lots of enemies holding onto a Master Seal that can either be stolen or captured away from them, so it's a nice reward for engaging with the game's mechanics as well. Other than that, this game doesn't change too much about the promotion system. After Thracia, we have the GBA games, and these all work fairly similarly to each other. They use the FE3 model, so flat promotion bonuses and specific promotion items for specific classes. Unlike Thracia, the promotion item situation can definitely be a little tight in these games. For FE6, for example, you don't get your second Knight Crest until Chapter 16, but you have a few Cavaliers, so you'll just have to choose which ones you want to use. On one hand, I like this because it makes it difficult for you to just use all units of one type, but I think it can be a little punishing to new players if they, say, train both the Christmas Cavs only to find out they aren't going to be able to promote one of them for a very long time. And God forbid they use both the Christmas Cavs and Noah. I guess there's also Trek, but no one uses Trek. FE7 doesn't deviate much from the formula, though it does allow thieves to promote into assassins using a new promotion item, the Fell Contract. We see a bigger change in FE8, which is that the classes have a choice of 2 options to promote into, instead of classes always promoting to the same thing. For example, in FE8, a mercenary can promote into a ranger or a hero instead of just a hero like in the other GBA games. So it's just an additional choice for players to make beyond just deciding who to promote and when to promote. You also have to decide what to promote them into. For the most part, the promotion options in FE8 are pretty lopsided. Typically one choice is better than the other in most situations. However, the game isn't difficult enough to demand that you use only the best options, and a lot of the less popular options can still be pretty fun. So I would call this a Sacred Stones W, and it's something that would be iterated on later in the series. After GBA we have Tellius, and the promotion bonuses like GBA are flat here, but these games change things up again by allowing you to promote without the use of an item. In Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, a unit can promote by hitting level 20 and then leveling up one more time, with the exception of characters that either can't promote or have a story-based promotion. For those that like promoting early though, you can still use a Master Seal, which allows a unit to promote as early as level 10. This is often used on either staff users who can take a while to get to level 20 without using bonus EXP to pump their level up, or on units you only plan on using for the short term, meaning you would like them to be better immediately and aren't worried about their long-term growth. For units that see a lot of combat though, it's usually no big deal to just get them their promotion through leveling or bonus experience. Unlike Sacred Stones, most promotions here don't have a branching path, but some specific classes do get to make a decision on promotion. Mages in FE9, for example, get to choose between knives and staves for their second weapon type when they promote into Sage. It's definitely better to go with staves, but something interesting about Path of Radiance is that all the pre-promoted sages you get have knives. The result is that staves sort of act as your reward for training a mage instead of using the pre-promote. If you want a sage that also uses staves, you have to build it yourself. Cavaliers similarly get to choose a second weapon type to receive when they promote into Paladin, though the choice is usually pretty clear too. If you don't already have axes, you probably want axes. Radiant Dawn's big new thing that it added was that most classes have 3 tiers instead of 1. So a fighter still promotes into a warrior, but then warrior can also promote into reaver. This fits the game well for 2 reasons. 1, Radiant Dawn's really long, so there's lots of opportunities to level up, and 2, it's a sequel. So adding 3rd tier classes allows them to include characters from the previous game and start them in advanced classes while still leaving them room to grow. It would be pretty weird for all of the Grail mercenaries to be unpromoted in this game, so they get around this issue by starting most of the Grail mercs in their advanced classes, but still having one more class for them to grow into later. Another change that Radiant Dawn made was that when you promote into your 3rd tier class, you immediately unlock your class's mastery skill, such as Astra for the True Blade class. This is a change from Path of Radiance, where you needed to use an occult scroll on a unit in their promoted class to unlock the mastery skill. We go back to only having 2 class tiers in Shadow Dragon and Mystery of the Emblem, which were our DS-era Fire Emblem games. Promotions in these games are a little weird because of the reclassing system. In these games, you can freely switch between a handful of classes at any time, so when you promote, you essentially just swap class spaces from your old one to your new one, and the difference between the two is the promotion bonus. The result is that it doesn't matter what you promote into really, as you can just swap between promoted classes to get different class spaces. In both DS-era games, units promote using master seals instead of class-specific items, which makes sense since units aren't in a single preset class. There's nothing too crazy about promotions here, though one thing to note is that promotion items are pretty scarce for the front half of Shadow Dragon. You won't get your first promotion item until Chapter 10, and you'll probably have multiple units capable of using it, so the decision can feel pretty difficult. This is something I like about Shadow Dragon. Promotion feeling scarce for a while makes it feel really exciting when you finally do get to promote, and later on you get more promotion items that let you promote the rest of your squad. Some units just don't promote in these games and are given an extra 10 levels to their level cap to compensate. Marth, for example, can't promote, but can level up to 30 instead of 20. Reclassing is really prevalent in this game and in many of the games after it, but it's also a bit beyond the scope of this video. I did a different video on reclassing that I'll link in the description if that sounds interesting, but I'm not going to touch on it too much in this video. After the DS games, we had Awakening and Fates, which use the same promotion system. Here, units have a few promotion options to choose from depending on the unit and base class, and this is another game with reclassing, so units promote with the generalized Master Seal instead of specific promotion items. Although reclassing isn't as flexible in this game. In Shadow Dragon, you can just do it whenever you want. In Fates, you have to use a seal to reclass. Like Shadow Dragon, stat bonuses from promotion are the difference between the class bases of the base class and the class bases of the promoted class. But since you can't reclass at will, what you promote into matters in this game, since you'll have to spend some resources if you want to slide the unit into a different class. Plus, you might want to stay in your unpromoted class for a while to unlock its skill, since each class has its own set of skills to unlock. The next time we saw a major overhaul to the promotion system is 3 Houses, where class changing works very differently than all the games that came before. In this game, units don't just have to reach a certain level to promote, they also have to reach a high enough level in specific skills to pass an exam. For example, the exam requirements for Wyvern Lord are A rank flying and axes as well as C rank lances. You can attempt the exam even if you don't quite meet the requirements, but you do so with a chance of failure. To my knowledge, that makes this the only game where promotion can have a chance of success. 3 Houses also divides classes into a few tiers, beginner, intermediate, advanced, and master, with the level and skill requirements being lower for lower tiers. The nature of this promotion system is that it encourages some long-term planning, so if you want a unit to get into a certain master class, you'll want to get on increasing their relevant skills as quickly as possible, especially if the unit has a Bane in one of them, since that will slow progress down. In this game, units can promote into any class, it's just all about being able to pass the certification exam. This system was a good fit for 3 Houses. Most Fire Emblem games are about training your units through combat, so it makes sense that levels and experience are the only factor considered when determining if a unit can promote or not. 3 Houses, of course, does feature units growing through combat, but also by being educated in the monastery portion of the game. So it makes sense that it isn't enough to just raise your level, units need a mix of practical experience from combat and educational experience from the monastery in order to promote. This system is a nice way of tying promotion to both of 3 Houses' main modes of play, in-map combat, and classroom activities that increase a unit's skills. In addition to combat arts and skills, promotions are one of the main things that will guide your choices when deciding what skills to improve for each student in 3 Houses. This system provides quite a bit of choice for each player, even if you know what final class you want a unit to end up in, which beginner, intermediate, and advanced classes you want them to spend time in might change depending on what you want the unit to do and what skills you want them to have. So this is a pretty neat system, though it is pretty tied to 3 Houses' setting and mechanics, So to iterate on this, a game would have to make some significant changes or include some replacement for the monastery and teaching sessions. For 3 houses though, it's a good fit. Last up we have our most recent game, Engage, and in this game promotion is more traditional than 3 houses. You promote using a master seal once you hit level 10. In this game, promoted classes have higher growth rates than unpromoted classes, and you can reset your level using a second seal, so it's good to promote when you can. This game also heavily features reclassing, but since second seals reset your level to 1, it's better to promote and then reclass so that you can reclass into another promoted class, unless you really want an unpromoted unit out of their base class as soon as possible. Each unpromoted class has a couple options for what they can promote into, such as Cavaliers who can promote into Paladin or Great Knight. One unique thing about Engage is that a lot of promotion options have different versions you can choose from. If you promote Lapis into Hero, for example, you can choose Axes or Lances as your secondary weapon. Additionally, Royals like Evie and Fogado have their own unique special classes that they can promote into. Nothing too crazy or unique with promotion in this game. One interesting thing is that in the early game you are fairly limited on Master Seals, so you have to make choices on who's coming out of the early game with you simply because you don't have enough seals for everyone. I generally like this because I like having to make a choice on what units to bring, but the early game feels sort of lopsided on who to promote. You get 4 seals and it's really appealing to give 2 of them to Alir and Chloe, while some of the units really struggle to get a seal like Alfred or Boucheron. So it is cool that you have to make a choice on who to promote, but I wish the units were a bit more competitive with each other in the early game of Engage. So that's promotion across the series. Personally, my favorite system is Sacred Stones. I like that the branching paths provide a couple options for each unit, but not so many that it's overwhelming or that units homogenize into the same few great classes. I also prefer item-based promotions to location-based ones like FE4 and Gaiden. In Gaiden, it can be annoying to have to walk back to a dungeon and potentially fight enemies just to get to a shrine so that you can promote. But also these systems remove the resource management component of promotion that item-based systems have. In Shadow Dragon, for example, by the time you get your first Master Seal, you probably have multiple units ready to promote, so there's a decision to be made on which unit you want to prioritize, and I think that's fun. You lose out on that in games with location-based promotions. You also lose out on it to an extent in games like Path of Radiance, where you promote by leveling. In these games, your decision on who to invest experience into becomes more important than usual, since those won't just be the units getting level ups, they'll also be the units promoting. But you won't have to make decisions like, who should get my first promotion item? Another advantage of promotion items is that they can be a very compelling reward for players to go after. Especially in the early game, if a Master Seal is in a chest on a map or droppable by an enemy, players will try really hard to get that item because they want to be able to promote. And this is something you can only really do when promotions are item-based instead of location-based. So those are the main reasons I prefer item-based promotions. I also prefer when the items are Master Seals instead of class-specific items. In theory, I like the idea of specific promotion items for specific classes, like in the GBA era of Fire Emblem, because I like how it can restrict how many units of a specific class you can have, but it's also pretty restrictive. It's fun that in modern games you can do things like all mage teams, and that would be trickier in games that only give you a limited amount of items for promoting mages. Universal promotion items also seems like the direction Fire Emblem is going to continue to go in, since easily accessible reclassing would invalidate specific promotion items in many cases anyway. So those are the things that I like in a Fire Emblem promotion system. What do you think though? Do you have a favorite promotion system, or does it not matter that much to you? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and if you liked the video, consider hitting the like or subscribe button so that you never miss an upload. And if you want to chat more about Fire Emblem, also check out the community Discord that you'll find linked in the video description. Either way, thanks for stopping by, and have yourself a lovely week.